Could you talk a bit more on your initial interactions with people before the disability, around your education and before your family, as in what defined your beliefs and values?
There were people living with disability in my life before I started working in the sector, but growing up, I don't ever recall there being a separation. Quite close family, friends of ours, one of their children had a significant deteriorating disability. And to me, he was just my friend's brother. I never really looked, differently at that. And although I didn't probably have such a firm view at the time that people are people, I don't believe that I don't remember growing up in any way to have views that, these people are kind of in this category and those people are in a different category. I'm born in Finland, raised in Australia, kind of raised in Germany, brought back to Australia. I think I'm kind of privileged in the way that I've come across lots of different people in my life. People from all different types of walks of life, different worldviews. And I'm grateful for that, because saying, exactly what I was saying about being in the sector, I think it's added a real richness to my life for which I'm grateful. It's, I find myself privileged when people start sharing their story with me, or when they give me an insight into what their experience or what their life is or who they are. Not everybody does that. And when you're in that moment, you have somebody opening up, I do think that that's a privilege. Some of my early interactions in the sector with people living with disability, all sorts of different ones. I had to cover some of my colleagues' shifts when they were supporting people who were working at UWA Business School, and they were working in administrative capacities, and I didn't have any kind of training or anything to help me up. So I think being thrown into the deep end and then just trying to look at the situation and do my job, which, for example, in that moment was to support these people to do their work. It really made me have to sit back, observe, and kind of be guided by them. And then when you're sitting around, you're having chit chat, and they tell you, what they get up to and this and that. It's they all of those moments are the highlights of my career. You can ask any of my staff if they let me attend our end of year functions with the clients or any of the Halloweens or Easters or whatever, they will tell you that it's like actually I'm not going to use an analogy, but it's, I get let out of my little office box and it is like just the best time, getting up on the dance floor, dancing with the clients and just mixing and mingling. It's
not the Finnish Prime Minister.
I am not the Finnish Prime Minister, but I also don't believe that there's anything wrong with enjoying life every once in a while. Sure. But like those moments, they are
very powerful.
Yeah, they bring me back to my purpose. I don't do this job for any other reason other than I want to see good outcomes for the people that we support and for my staff, for my management team. And like I said, if one day we could get to a point where the community has shifted their view on people with disability and have this common view that people are people. We don't always have to label and categorize